Hello, I'm just going to do a tour of my daffodils in the garden. It's a lovely sunny day on April the 2nd. Haven't had much sun in March. I think it's been the wettest March since 1981, I think. Finally looks like we're getting some sun and some warmth. I've got quite a few daffodils growing, lots that I bought as bulbs in the autumn from different suppliers. This one here is called Eton Song. This has been flowering probably for about 3 or 4 weeks, probably from early March. It was an early variety. This one I got in a pack just from In Excess very cheaply. I knew it was a good variety when I saw it from reading about them before. Bought a few packs and it's done really, really well. So that's Eton Song. And then to the left of it here again, bought at the same place, In Excess, is Falconet. Again, this is just slightly later than Eton Song, but it's been flowering probably for about 2 or 3 weeks now. This has got multi-heads, been growing really well. Good variety, slightly taller than Eton Song. The flowers are slightly smaller, but definitely a good one. Pleased with that one. And then coming round to the area here. So this one here was bought at the same place In Excess and labelled as Hawera, Hawera, which is a lovely little one, which I thought it hasn't turned out to be that at all. It's a yellow double of some sort. I don't know if it's double tete-a-tete or something. Don't particularly like it, but it's all right. Don't particularly like doubles anyway. Bit disappointed I didn't get the Hawera variety, but that's what happens when you buy them as dry bulbs. You don't often know, sometimes get mixed up in the trade. The one behind it, however, is Hawera, which I got in the pot just over a week or 2 ago. Lovely little miniature daffodil, and that's what I was hoping the other one was going to be, but at least I've got some for next year. I'll probably take them out of the pot and separate them and possibly take these other ones out, not sure yet. And then coming to the left of them here, this is the absolutely tiny little dainty one. This one's called Canaliculatus. Tiny little thing. I knew it was going to be tiny, but I thought it was going to be a bit bigger than this. It's hardly come off the ground, probably. Yeah, I don't know whether it's still to come. A bit taller, but it's pretty anyway. But very, very small. Maybe one for pots rather than the border, but we'll see. Might have been good for that to be in the position of that one on the edge. But I thought that was going to be the small Hawera one, as I mentioned anyway. But that's Canaliculatus. Very nice, but very small. This one here is a surprise. This one was bought from the local garden centre. This is Sailboat. Got this in the sale in November time, and absolutely so many flowers on that. Really pleased with that one. You see a nice sort of yellowy, white colour. Starts off a little bit yellow in the centre and then turns mostly white. That's been flowering probably for about 3 weeks now. So that was quite an early variety. The one in front not flowering yet. That is Topolino. I don't think that's going to flower this year. I got them in the sale last year in pots, reduced, non-flowering leaves. Maybe they'll flower next year. Behind it is the very lovely, very common but lovely tete-a-tete, which has been flowering probably for about 3 weeks or so. Had those in the ground for a while. And coming round here, this one here that's a really lovely variety. That's called Red Devon. Again, I saw that was one that I bought in a pot last year from the garden centre, and I split up the bulbs at the end of the season and separated them and planted them separately, so that was all from one big pot. Really like that one. That's really good. Red Devon. That's been flowering probably for about 2 weeks. This one here, I'm not quite sure what it is. I think it was bought as a different variety because I'm not really into doubles. But it's pretty nice. Wouldn't normally choose that variety. I think I bought that as odd job, but it's obviously a different variety. But it's quite colourful. Not really that into the doubles, but yeah, okay. And then coming round here, this one is absolutely fantastic. This is a stunner. So this is called Cape Cornwall. So this was one of my many varieties of bulbs I got from Quality Daffodils in Cornwall, run by Adrian Scamp, son of Ron Scamp, who's a very famous daffodil breeder. And I think Cape Cornwall, this is one of Ron Scamp's own cultivars that he's bred. And I saw in an article that he did that this is one of his favourites. It was probably an article like 10-15 years ago in a book. And this has just been flowering for a few days now. Absolutely stunning. I can see why he likes this one. Beautiful. Very pleased with that. That's Cape Cornwall. I visited Cornwall last year just with the family on a family trip. We ended up speaking to Adrian Scamp, who runs Quality Daffodils, and went to see his field last April. I was very impressed with it, and as a result I ended up buying lots of bulbs from him from the autumn, and been very impressed with them, the ones that I've got. See a little bit of those a little bit later. Really good, amazing daffodils. Huge bulbs when they came in the autumn. Really great quality. Well, I guess that's the name, Quality Daffodils. This one here was bought and labelled as Sweetness, which again from I think in excess, cheap in the autumn. I don't know if it is Sweetness or not, but it does have a very sweet smell. I'd seen on one of Ron Scamp's tutorials or something that this was a good variety. I saw it last year and I saw it in the garden centre and thought, right, I'll try that. And that's been flowering probably for about 3 weeks. So that's a really nice variety. This one here on the left is just starting to come out. So this is another one from Quality Daffodils. And this one I'm pretty sure is Early Splendour. But interestingly, it's down as being an early variety, but it's only just starting to flower now on the 2nd of April, way behind some of the other ones that are labelled as mid. And they're all planted roughly the same time. If anything, the early ones were planted in pots slightly before the mid to late ones. I put them in pots initially and then put them in the ground once things had died back, so I could see where the gaps were. But that's Early Splendour, which is absolutely stunning, like that. And you can see there's loads of flowers on that to come, multi-headed, beautiful. This one here is another one from Quality Daffodils. This one's called Andrew's Choice. This is probably one of the earliest to flower. This has been flowering for 3 weeks or so. You can see this is a lovely multi-headed daffodil. Beautiful. That's Andrew's Choice. To the left here, I thought I labelled as Jack Snipe. Again, this is one I got from the bulb importer on the internet. It's obviously not Jack Snipe. It's a pretty nice small yellow, but disappointed it's not the one that I thought it was going to be. There is some more still to come along here. I might dwell on those in another video later. This one is another absolute stunner. This one is called Firebrand. This one again was from Quality Daffodils. There we go, let's see if we can see that. Absolutely stunning. I think that's one of Adrian Scamp's favourites. And I asked if I could have some when I saw him last year, and he added some to my order. Very kind of him, because I think they're not that common, not that easy to buy. But that is an absolutely stunning variety. This is an old heritage variety. I think goes back many years. Not one that they've bred themselves, but obviously they've sourced it and kept it going. But yeah, that's absolutely stunning daffodil. And that's called Firebrand. One of the things that I've done wrong, as you can see from planting, is that the bed is, so south is over there and the bed's here, so most of the daffodils actually face away from where you're looking at them from the house, but they probably look good from that aspect of the garden, which I'll walk over to in a minute. But there's firebrand again, absolutely stunning. There behind, I think, are some February gold, which are still going. That was a very early one. They've been flowering for 3 or 4 weeks. In fact, there's some behind there as well that's finished flowering. I've deadheaded them, but they're still going, probably up to 4 weeks or so. Nice early one to see. These here, again, I'll come back to another time. It's a geranium coming through. That was in a pot labelled as geranium. Those 2 big yellow ones, obviously not. I think there are some geraniums in there that have just been sort of muddled up. That was in a section that I got in the where you just pick your own into a bag from the local garden centre. Huge bulbs. Some more to come here, and onto another one from Quality Daffodils. Again, haven't got the right angle just because of the way that they're facing, but this is an absolute stunner as well. This is called Roger. This was, yeah, again from Adrian Scamp. Absolutely stunning. That's been an early one. That's probably been flowering for 2 or 3 weeks now. Absolutely beautiful, I think. So yeah, that's really good. That's probably one of my favourites so far this year. Just love the contrasting colours there. Absolutely beautiful. And then coming on to one next to it is another one from Quality Daffodils. This one is called Early Splendour. That looks absolutely amazing. All of them I'm so happy with. The ones I chose were obviously the ones from the catalogue that I like. I'm so pleased with them. They're absolutely stunning. And as I mentioned, the bulb size when they came was absolutely huge. Sometimes you'd order 3 bulbs, and actually there'd be 3 bulbs. But actually each bulb had 2, and I separated them, so I actually made 6. I ordered 3, which because obviously that's how they naturally bulk up in the wild. But that, yeah, that was Early Splendour, and this odd one here, I think is called Insulindi, or Insulind. Again, this is one from Quality Daffodils. I think it's, I'm not sure I like it actually. It's slightly different to what I thought it was going to be. I didn't realise it was going to be a double, but my daughter likes it. It's got sort of very ruffled centre. You can see it's got sort of a mixture of colours going through there. I'm not sure I like it, but that's an old, I think that's an old one, old variety, Insulind or Insulindi. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. Coming around here, there's some tete-a-tetes and jet fire I've had in the ground for a while. Very common, see them everywhere. Coming around here, one in a pot which is unlabelled. I did try to keep my labels really, I did label them very carefully after planting last year, but with all the wind and winter weather, some of the labels came out. Not many, but a couple, but this is one of them, so I'm not entirely sure what that is, but from process of elimination when the others have come out, I'll probably be able to work out what it is. But that's a pretty nice one. Haven't put that in the ground yet. I'll probably put that in today at some point. That's just been flowering for probably a couple of days. Next to it here is another one from Quality Daffodils, and this is called Catherine Jenkins. I think this is one bred by Ron Scamp. Again, absolutely beautiful, I think. Stunning variety, multi-heads, and this has been flowering probably for, I think it's been said it's a mid variety, but it's probably been flowering for at least a week or 2, probably since the middle of March, earlier than some of the ones that are labelled as early. But that's a good one there. Behind here, I'm not entirely sure what it is. I put it in, I think, after buying as Barrett Browning. Actually thinking about it, it might be Red Devon. Yeah, I think it might be Red Devon, actually thinking about it. I just realised that because I had these were put directly into the ground when I got them in the sale late. So that's lots of red Devon. Showing you some of that already, but that's a really nice variety. I only just realised that's probably what it is. So that's there. And coming round to this was a variety that I got from Croft Daffodils, where they have heritage daffodils that you can buy. These came as quite small bulbs actually, but they've done pretty well. Had them in small individual small pots labelled. I think I ordered about 11 of them, just where I wanted to make sure, just for heritage reasons, that they're still labelled properly. This one is called, let me get the label, that one is called Midtown Amber. That's an old heritage one that I got from Croft Daffodils, where they keep lots of heritage daffodils, and they've got a business up in Scotland. Pretty good, pretty nice. I've noticed that some of the heritage ones don't seem to be quite as robust as the newer ones, but it's still interesting to have, and be nice to try and keep these heritage varieties if I can. Coming through here, this is one that has just been flowering, probably in the last couple of days. I've got a feeling it might be Mauser from Quality Daffodils, but I need to search for the label. I'm not 100% sure. Actually, I think it's one of the ones that he's bred himself. Ron Scap, that is. That looks a really nice variety. If that's what it is, I'll double check that at some point. Yeah, so there's Mauser. There's one here coming out, which again I need to see. So that's no, so that's Mauser. Apologies. So this one here I think is Mauser. Looks like a multi-headed one just about to come out. So I need to work out what that other one is. Here is Jetfire, again a very common one. These have been in the ground for years, 4 or 5 years. Doing really well. They seem to bulk up really quickly. Nice variety. Here is one again from Quality Daffodils, just starting to come out now. This one I think is called Golden Dawn. Again another multi-headed variety, just starting to come out. Looks like it's going to be another beautiful one. That is called, yeah, I think that's Golden Dawn. Yeah, pretty sure. Moving around here, yet another one from Quality Daffodils. This one is called Bright Spot. Look at that. It's beautiful, isn't it? I think. That's been flowering probably for about a week to 10 days. Very nice variety. It's Bright Spot. And then moving around here, we then get back to sort of where we started. A variety here, I'm not entirely sure. I think this was bought as, pretty sure this was bought as Flower Record in bulk from an internet buyer. I'm not sure that that's what it is actually, but it's nice anyway. I don't think that was a Quality Daffodils one. And there's still quite a few to come in the middle there. There's Cragford in the middle still to come. And there's a view of the garden. Just looking at them there. So from this angle you can see this is where they're turning to face the sun. So there's the ones I just did earlier. So you've got the double tete-a-tete on the left, sailboat, and sweetness in the middle. and Andrew's Choice, and then oh yeah, there was another one called Cornish Chuckles that I forgot to mention about, which is to the right of Andrew's Choice, which is very similar to Eton Song. This was one from Quality Daffodils. There we go, yeah. So that is Cornish Chuckles. That's starting to go over now. That's probably been flowering for about 3 or 4 weeks. That was a very early variety, multi-headed, very similar to Eton Song. I'm not sure which one I prefer. They're both really nice. Just behind there, there's some Pulsatilla. Still lots of herbaceous plants to come up. Then coming around here, this is another. I think this is Bright Spangles. Pretty sure. This was another one from Quality Daffodils. Another nice multi-headed one. Some of them do have really nice scent, but I can't remember obviously. I'll be able to notice that through the screen. That's a lovely colour there with it's quite a nice with the tulips behind. That's deliberate, but I'm not actually a big fan of red tulips. I find red is hard to go with other colours, but I thought they were going to be purple when I got them a couple of years ago, but this is their second year. Not looking too bad. Then behind it is another heritage variety from Croft. Another little dainty one. Gorgeous little centre. That's sort of more characteristic of the older varieties to have the petals separated like that. That variety is called, just have a look, I think that was that had a long Latin name, something like Radiflorus. There was one that was G strain and one that was a normal, that's the normal strain. Something Radiflorus. Sorry for not knowing exactly what that one is. That's a nice little dainty one again. Doesn't seem quite as robust as some of the new ones, but pretty. And coming around here, down there is one called Winter Waltz, which I got last year in pots from B&Q cheap at the end of the season. I got it because it was cheap. Not sure I particularly like it, but not a big fan of the big trumpet ones. But it's still nice colourful. That was quite an early one. That's probably been flowering for about 3 or 4 weeks. In fact, you can see that it's starting to go over. Now behind it is one I really like. That's Barrett Browning. I planted those directly in the soil just because I went out of soil and pots in the autumn when they came late on sale. And they have been flowering probably for about 7 to 10 days, maybe 2 weeks. Absolutely stunning variety, I think. It's called Barrett Browning. Look at that. Look at that. That's absolutely stunning, isn't it? Whereas to me, that yellow one there, which is one I think I've had as a random one, just doesn't really do much for me. Just a bit boring, I think. Then you come back to this one here. Look at that. That's absolutely stunning. That's Barrett Browning. I think that was from a internet bulb supplier, mass bulb supplier. I'm very happy with that. Still lots more to come here. Again, quite a few from Quality Daffodils still to do, which I'll another time. This one here is another heritage variety from Croft, Croft 16. Again, it's got that typical sort of old heritage shapes to the petals. And that one is called, oh, I haven't got the label for that, but I wrote it down in the book. I've got a feeling it might be Cyanoshore, C-Y-A-N-O Shore, but I'll double check that because the label's not there. But I did write it in my book where the location of it is, just for future reference. This one here again was one that I got from Croft, and this is another heritage variety, and it's called Dunkeld, I think, Dunkeld. Again, that was put that in the ground yesterday. Actually, that's been growing in a pot. Managed to keep the label for that one in with it. I haven't put in my book yet where it's located in the garden, but because often the labels fade. But that's called Dunkeld. Nice variety, I think. Come around here. There's some tete-a-tetes which are just finishing, which I like, but I guess no one sees them. That variety there, I think, is called Juanita or something like that. That's one that I bought many years ago. There's actually some down there as well, which I trashed. Unfortunately, yesterday when I planted this magnolia tree called Magnolia Livingston, dark purple, which I bought in the garden centre a couple of days ago. Absolutely stunning. So I put that in the ground yesterday. Fortunately, the leaves of those daffodils got a bit trashed doing that, but it's difficult to avoid it. And I think one of the last ones, again another one from Quality Daffodils, here, just come out in the last couple of days. This is called Bedruthen. Don't know whether this is one of Ron Scamp's own ones, but absolutely stunning. Look at the colour of the trumpet there. There's a red fringe around it. Absolutely beautiful. So that is Bedruthen. There's some Anemone Blanda, White Splendour, very good. And then just coming around here, on the trampoline, some bulbs that I planted a few years ago. This is called Thalia. This is one that you'll see on garden as well, because Monty Don likes it on the way up by his path next to his writing garden. It's a nice variety, pure white, multi-headed Thalia. It's been flowering for a week or so. I think it's been damaged by slugs, I think, or snails, but yeah, that's a nice variety I've had in there, and that's been its third or fourth year now. And I think that's it for today, but I'll do another lot probably in a couple of weeks' time, when I've probably got another 30 or 40 varieties still to come out. But just before we go, here we are, looking around the garden, and that's where the main bulk is. It's coming around, that's really blurry, isn't it? And I'll try and do another one in a couple of weeks. Thanks, bye.